in Stevenson. During my time as a Library Dean's Fellow, I worked on the project Wisdom Digitized, Wisdom Multiplied, which involved me creating the structure for a telephony application to host oral histories. I believe that the project's title speaks to the importance of making technology in all its forms accessible to all communities, especially those that are marginalized by the digital divide. This Dean's Fellows project is actually part of a larger oral history initiative called Wisdom of the Elders, which is led by Vanderbilt professor Ifeoma Nwankwo. Dr. Nwankwo has collected interviews in the past, which can be found at Voices from Our America, or vfoa.org. Our work in this project is a continuation of what she has spearheaded and developed. My project partner, Nadejda, Webb, and I each worked on a different dimension of the project. While she created the portion concerned with individuals calling in to give their own stories, I worked on the archival portion where stories will be stored and available for callers to access for their own listening pleasure. Throughout the duration of my work, I had to overcome a significant learning curve. As a student with a strong humanities background, I felt anxious about diving into the technology of coding language, but it was a journey I won't soon forget, and one I'm grateful for. We used the software called Neo4j to map out our tree or pathway for events that would happen when a person picks up the phone and accesses our application to give their story or to listen to someone else's. I've learned that coding in itself is a rich and unique example of storytelling. It's all about connecting the right relationships to achieve an overall narrative of fluency and purpose. Digital humanities marries two things that many scholars like to put at odds with each other, but technology and the humanities have more in common than we might think. I'm thankful that through this Dean's Fellows project, I was able to push past my fear and learn about an emerging and necessary field within the realm of scholarship.
My name is Nadejda Webb, and I am a first-year graduate student in the English PhD program. I thoroughly enjoyed my time working on the Wisdom Digitized, Wisdom Multiplied project, as I was able to analyze the theoretical and practical interventions possible through digital humanities. I developed the half of the application that is for those who are calling in to share their stories. There were multiple steps in this, the first being understanding exactly what a telephony application was and the adults whom we were targeting. After figuring out that our goal was to develop a telephone service that facilitates access to the Voices for Our America project with no internet connection for adults who are older with possibly limited technological knowledge, the question became about questions. How exactly does one design questions that enable those answering to give their most thorough story in a dignified manner? Or rather, how does one actively work against fetishizing those who provide the information that fuels one's scholarship? This was resolved through the design of each question. After researching oral history methodologies, consulting with Professor Nwankwo, and hearing the feedback from the Dean's Fellows, I decided that each question had to be both specific and broad to encompass the needs of the application and respect the stories that were being shared. After the caller presses a number to indicate they want to share their story or hear stories, a thank you note plays. Questions to locate the caller is then asked. Name, age, location, followed by questions that flow in a linear manner. Birth, early childhood, parents, fondest childhood memories. The wording, however, does not get more specific than that, so the caller is in the position to direct the conversation. The caller is in control, even with a presupposed question set. The point of this application is both to build and connect folks to the archive. What goes into this archive must reflect in real, non-manipulated ways those who are seeking to add to it outside of the white gaze, the hegemonic gaze, and the performative self. Just the process of developing questions enabled me to think about my own work and the interventions I want to make. The practical aspect of building a code that could plainly map this project out allowed me to develop a technological muscle I had never used before. Specifically, using Neo4j and Cypher, the query language that allows for coding the graph, allowed me to understand coding. I was an English major in undergrad, and I had never dabbled in coding. I came in fairly nervous, both for this reason and because I am a first-year graduate student. Having to stand in front of a room filled with people from various disciplines and various years in the careers shattered that nervousness. I have come to like coding. It's very relaxing after having to deal with theoretical texts, and appreciate the formula provided within the Dean's Fellows program of goals set within a 2-week frame, followed by a problem-solving session and the setting of new goals. I recommend the Dean's Library Fellowship as a means to explore and add to your own interests and study digital humanities.